There are a number of ways for businesses to work with non-government organisations and charities in preventing exploitation within supply chains, and it's key to look at those NGOs and charities as a resource for businesses. They are experienced, they recognise the signs where, as a business, this is only a small part of what you do. So it's really important to reach out and speak to people that recognise the issue and how to combat that. And that can be done in a number of ways. There's the basic stuff such as training, and it may be that your business is big enough to warrant investment in training for staff to recognise the signs. It could be looking at ways of ensuring that your staff know how they can report suspicions around exploitation, and that could be through the Modern Slavery Helpline or through local partners. And there's also other opportunities as well. So as an example of that, Stop the Traffic and the Shiva Foundation have just launched a toolkit aimed at small and medium businesses. That gives some really practical advice in terms of what businesses can do, how they can introduce changes in practices that prevent exploitation or reduce the risk. And actually, you know, this is free. So this is something that will only take up your time in terms of reviewing and looking at some options that might assist you within your day-to-day business. I think probably the most important thing to say is that no matter what you do, there is always a risk of exploitation within supply chains, and that has to be a given. I know some people will claim that they have prevented exploitation, but when you're looking at detailed and complex supply chains, and it doesn't matter how small your business is, those complex sort of supply chains exist. This is about looking at preventing and making it more of a hostile environment, and actually working alongside NGOs and just using them as critical friends, if nothing else, can really benefit. There's opportunities to look at alliances between NGOs and businesses, and that could be for a formal process. It could be sort of within local business groups. It could be sort of more ad hoc. So it could just be through friends and someone that works within this sector. You know, whatever suits your business. But the important thing, and why it is so important, is it starts that conversation. As I've said previously, you know, this is about going to people that recognise the issues and have some experience of looking at what prevention looks like, and that prevention approach can really be tailored to suit your business. This isn't, as I say, just about looking at training everyone, which is great, but you know, it's actually, training is great in one respect, but it's sort of that practical experience and understanding of the basic issues that can help sort of encourage staff just to think something doesn't feel right here, and actually, you know, I don't know what it is, but rather than just discount it or not do anything about it, actually, if you've got someone that you can refer into and just say, I've got this situation, what do you think? Actually, it might sort of allay your fears, or actually it could mean that you can work alongside that NGO to report, whether that's to the police, to the Modern Slavery Helpline, whoever is appropriate, you know, including the Gang Masters and Labour Abuse Authority, for them to make a more detailed assessment and take action where necessary. I think there's always a concern for employees and employers about making a wrong call, and we see that through life. You know, it's you see something in the street in which you live in, and you're and there's always a concern that actually, if you ring the police, are you making a wrong call? Is it going to cause an issue? Is there something going on that you've not fully understood? And that can sort of deter people from calling out. So I think it's really important, particularly within business, is to give people that feeling that they'll be backed up if they see something that isn't right. And I appreciate, you know, we're talking about things such as sort of like whistleblowing or snitching, whatever word you want to use. So there's always a concern around this. But all I would say is that, you know, just by making that call or speaking to someone about this, you could have a positive impact on someone's life. The fact is, if you make a wrong call, does it really matter? You know, there must have been something there in the first place to raise your suspicion. So all I will say is there are ways of reporting suspicions, whether that's in terms of you, it being known it was you, or doing it anonymously. But what I would say is that this is a complex issue. Modern slavery, exploitation. We speak a lot about it being hidden, and absolutely, I think you get full support from everyone if you made a call, even if that call turned out to be wrong later down the line. There was a reason for you to do it in the first place. There's always been a fear, particularly around business reputation, and we've seen it in the press with some really big businesses where exploitation has been found. It's been reported negatively in the media. But I think this is really important. There are positives to be taken from here. And I don't think anyone should be critical of businesses that take a proactive stance in terms of looking and identifying exploitation within their supply chains, and working with NGOs, working with the police, helping them with their investigations, particularly from a law enforcement point of view, is a positive action. And the fact is that there are ways, particularly around trials and the approach that policing take in reporting the issues, and it can be shown that this is actually a collaboration between law enforcement and business to weed out exploitation and make sure that the people responsible are prosecuted.